Welcome back to the One Line Away podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tyler Weber.
And this is Cassie Weber, and today's episode is called A is for Adoption. We are officially back to recording, and it felt like our hiatus was definitely necessary, but within that time, so much has gone on, so it's almost like we've gathered a whole lot of thoughts, a whole lot of new updates, and we, again, with being still one line away, we're here to continue to drop the veil and continue to talk about everything in regards to infertility, loss, TTC, and now we've added adoption. Before we get any further into the episode, I think it's really important for us to discuss what's to come on the podcast, and as the return episode is labeled A is for Adoption, we're going to continue that theme of the alphabet, and every letter we will be covering a different topic or anything really that's been on our hearts, and whether that's personal or with all of these subjects of why we're here doing this podcast, we are going to continue that. As far as our scheduling routine, we're still ironing that out, but the intention is for sure to have once or twice a month episodes.
Yeah, I think we kind of want to just find a rhythm first.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first one starts, it'll get our spark back and just like really get us, because it's been on our hearts to get back into coming in and recording. But like Sandra said, we've been trying to do a lot of things on the back end on our side with obviously our first topic, and it's been very exciting, but it's also been a lot. So this has been one thing that we really wanted to get back into, and I'm glad we're doing it today.
This episode is also not going to cover all things adoption. This is definitely an introduction to so much regarding this, as well as the space that we want to continue to create with infertility, loss, TTC, because that's something that will follow us forever. And that's why we're here. Why adoption? That's been in the time frame that we've announced that we were walking through our adoption journey to now. I believe the main question from our social media, from people that have been following us since the beginning of our podcast, people in our lives, clients, all of that has been what led you to wanting to adopt. And it's a loaded question, and it's a very personal question. And I think when we start to unravel and uncover that with our viewers and listeners, is point blank period, not every journey leads here. Not every journey is meant to even be adoption, and that's totally okay. But for us, we definitely want to talk more about that natural reveal to get us to this point. When we started the podcast, we were openly healing through everything we were walking through with infertility, loss, embryo loss, everything. And as weird and crazy as it sounds, there had been many Easter eggs that were being planted, like seeds were being planted in our hearts and in our minds without even knowing it or recognizing it for that year. Like that was a true year of healing that was absolutely necessary, and we're still going to walk through healing forever. But what that did, being in a space where we weren't actively doing treatments or actively trying to force anything in our journey, it was like that was the moment where, I guess for me, I'll go with my discovery was I kind of early to middle of last year, I had an unwavering feeling that adoption was something we needed to open the door to. And I actually didn't talk to Tyler about it right away. I sat on it for a good week, and in marriage, that's kind of a while, especially with Tyler and I. Especially me, I word vomit every second of every day. But I finally decided that I needed to talk to Tyler about it, because it felt like I could not even ignore it any longer. It felt like a very clear calling on, especially like the faith side of things. It just felt like finally there was an answer, or there was a like card that I was able to finally flip over, and I could see what was to come, and I couldn't shake it. Like I didn't have that pit in my stomach of like, oh, this is maybe me, or this is something I'm trying to force. It truly was like all of a sudden I could see again. And so full disclosure, I was really scared to present this to Tyler, and I texted him. I have figured out with my sweet little hubby that he doesn't do well or best with on the spot expectations of response, in the response that I want or strive to get. And so he's one that he needs to marinate on things. He needs to think for himself. He needs alone time to really like think through and process through things, which I've discovered through this journey. And I texted him, and I remember in the like towards the end of the text, I didn't ask him to say yes. I didn't want him to force a yes just to make me happy, because we're also dealing with a marriage that we want so badly to continue to be healthy. And I know that Tyler knows I would never want him to make a sacrifice that would build resentment or just felt forced in our journey. So his response was very simple, and it was simply, I'm ready to discuss this in some form. It was a very short response. So after that, I don't remember when, but we finally did have like a face-to-face conversation about everything. And it just went really well. And it was kind of like this, okay, let's reach out to some of the resources we know. That was our church / our pastors that we're close to and that have been very present in our walk up till that point. And then I asked if I could reach out to my sister. Like that was something that was like very, very important to me, was I just wanted to talk to my sister. And he gave me the green light. And from there, it truly felt like step by step, like day by day, things started just naturally falling into place. And I think that for the first time felt like, wow, we are definitely in the right path here, because it has gone smoothly. There hasn't been this moment yet that's been like, it felt wrong or forced or like not authentic. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I think I would love to hear what you felt just going back to that moment of like, what led you to Christmas is I think what I want you to tell everybody.
I just remember the text message. I think I had my headphones on, and it said, a really long message from wifey. And I usually know that that's when you're asking me questions now. So I read it, and I don't think I responded right away, but I like sat on it for a sec and just this is when I realized I had that thought in my mind of, yes, as much as I want a biological kid, this could still give us a kid that we will still love. Like we will still have we get to create a nursery, we get to do all that stuff that comes with it. Yes, it won't be my biological kid, but I will treat it as if it is. Yeah. And I think I finally just had that realization in my mind, where I was just like, this will give us both what we've always wanted, like what we wanted 5 years, in the making. And once I realized that, I was just like, okay, I'm ready to talk about it. Like I wasn't like, hey, gung ho, start this right now. It still was a process of, I don't know, a month and a half.
Working through that thought.
Yeah, a month and a half at least of us figuring out how this is going to work, what the next, like the actual steps are. And then once we figured out all that, it was just like, all right.
It's crazy what like, when you least expect it, like all of it, it's just crazy. That's why sometimes it's like so much higher than yourself, because it felt like for you, if I can speak for you, it almost was like there was never going to be a perfect time to like talk to you about it. But I think the moment that you like allowed yourself to really process, our biggest question was, are we okay with it just being Tyler and Cassie for the rest of our lives? Is that something that we're okay with? And I think we both led down that path of the answer was no.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at that, it's like, okay, well, what were we made for, and why can't we let go of this?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a redemption in itself that felt very surprising and shocking, because this, like, adoption wasn't on our bingo card. But I think the honesty part of this is like, you can be really, like, it's hard for Tyler and I to like discuss the rawness of what led us here too, because it wasn't just this like, I mean, for me, it felt a little bit like an overnight situation, but ultimately it felt like together we really had to trust what was being said and what we were hearing. And that was just discovery in itself that took time. And I think when Tyler and I both came together we so badly, like, we have so much love to give a child that I guess that's why we're here. That's why we're in this adoption process. And we're not going to be able to go over everything today with the actual logistics of like finding an agency, getting started with the agency, what we've accomplished so far. That's not going to be in this episode today, but the getting to this point has been very real, like very human-like, and it's really special, and it's our story too. And I think that that's what, if you're listening or watching, you have to recognize that every story is different, and it's okay if it's messy. It's also okay if it's like kind of confusing. And I think that's with adoption too, as we're walking through this actively, is you feel like you have to be filtered a little bit, but also that's again why we're here, is to allow conversation to be safe and welcoming, because it is a lot and it's big. Like, this isn't just something that you just go into, because we very quickly learned you don't just cross a couple things off and you're in. It's a
bigger process than that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
we both realized too that this has an end.
Yeah,
there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, if we were to try another cycle of anything like IVF or IUI or whatever it is, like,
it just doesn't feel right.
We just wouldn't. There's not a guaranteed that you're going to come out with it. And we know different. Like, adoption, it could take 1 month or after you get approved, like 1 month to 2 years, but
yeah,
there's still a light that we could reach. And with the other ways that we've tried, it's not guaranteed at all. And I don't know personally if I could take that. I mean, I could probably speak on your behalf as well, but I just don't know if I could take that.
I think Tyler and I, this is a whole nother conversation that, again, like, it's just, there's too many things to say about it in this episode, but it just is it's very telling that Tyler and I are both in a position that we feel this like sickly feeling when we do discuss like doing a transfer or trying to figure out how to finance and just figure out that part again, because we carry so much trauma with that area of our journey. However, I think Tyler and I both have the hope that someday in the next, we would have to give, the next 10 years, if you will, be able to give our remaining embryos a chance. Mm-hmm. But it's just not now. And it doesn't feel right, which is also it directs us so much. Like, it's very clear that we need to listen to that, and that's okay. And that shows a lot just in our healing process of like, there was a time where I wasn't okay with letting go of that. I wanted to strong arm it. And again, it's just like, here we are. And it just highlights how much adoption, without us knowing it was going to lead us here. And it feels so peaceful, even though it's going to be very hard. And there's a lot that we have to still get through and go through. And it's going to be a forever commitment. And I think that's what we can take in our journey now. Like, our journey up to this point, we never knew we were being prepared for being so ready to do hard again and attack something with grace and like flexibility and, all the things, all the adjectives. Mm-hmm. We're definitely going to talk about the nitty gritty, the logistics of what we can talk about with our adoption process. There is things that we can't discuss. There's things that we have to be very careful with how we conversate with the situation, because there's a whole another party involved that we want to respect. And we don't even know her yet, or we don't know them yet. But I think, there's definitely things that are off limits to discussion, and that's just out of respect for our journey, and also, like I said, the other party, especially even with our agency. We have been very quickly educated on how much bigger the process of adopting is in the United States. I love to learn new things, and that's why also I want so badly to continue this podcast and also allow space for adoption as well, because there is so much advocacy that is needed, and it deserves so much more respect than what is given. I think there's a lot that has changed in the past 20, 30 years of the industry. And yes, it is that. And I think it's just, there's nothing perfect about family building when you can't build it organically. And so it's been super informative. We feel very secure in the space that we're in with our agency and everything that we've learned up to this point, because it's felt very productive and very real and transparent. So would love to, like, even our education classes, we would love to get to talk to you more about those things. There's funding and financing to talk about. There's taboo things. There's like crowdfunding that I would love to talk about. There's all the phases.
Yeah, there's so much to it. It's crazy.
There's things that Tyler and I find very
silly.
Yeah, that's a very nice way to put it. But there's things that you're like, how weird, but you do have to just respect the process. Like, there's a reason why they're asking for these things. There's a reason why there's things that the state requires / the agency requires. And we're learning to, again, be flexible with the expectations that are on us, because no matter what, we have to get it done. And so that's what we'll do, When we announced on social media, when we like the content that I've kind of pushed out so far with the podcast, with the adoption process, like some of the things I've just kind of shared or highlighted, just some of the commentary has been very positive or very negative. And I think that that's what's been a little bit hard to navigate, is allowing space for all of that and taking that in a way that's still appropriate for both of us. So yeah, I think as we progress, we are totally aware that there's a space for all commentary and opinions, but there is boundaries that we will continue to put up, and it's really important for us to do that, as we've learned. Now, going away from that a little bit.
Going away from the A.
Yeah, going away from the A a little bit. While we were gone, or away, however you want to look at it, we had been working on our 2-week wait journal that has been published on Amazon for a month now, something like that. And boy, oh boy, was it a process. I had been working on the back end with my sister and her teaching partner, who was actually our illustrator in the design. And that had been going on for a good, almost a year. It felt like 6 months. I don't know. It felt like forever. And it was also because we were states away. But I am a perfectionist to a fault sometimes. And I ordered plenty of mocks, if you will. And the published version of it is everything and more to us. And I wanted to talk more about why this exists. And I think that we can totally go into more details about it later in another episode. But
B is for book.
I like that too. That's a good idea. But this is a plug, but it's a plug that we hope is a resource for our listeners, for our viewers, however you find us or see us or watch us or whatever it is. This book was made for every journey out there. And when I say that, I mean that. The whole intention of this book was very simple. I just wanted something on the market that had as minimal of triggers that it could, and that is definitely up for interpretation because there's things in here that may not apply to you. There's some IVF stuff. There's some just different illustrations that might hit differently for everybody. But the way to work through this book is customizable to you and what you're walking through. And for us, I know we've talked about this multiple times on this platform, but Tyler and I bought I don't know how many books and workbooks and journals and all the things to have truly not gotten anything from any of them. And it's not to speak negative towards any of those amazing resources. They just didn't work for us. And that's why this book exists. I would love for you guys to at least go take a look at what it's all about. There's a lot that we've at least written on the listing that should give you a good idea. It's not just a coloring book. It's not just a journal book. It has an intention for you every day, however you see it, for especially that the intention is the 2-week wait. And if you understand that, it's perfect for keeping your hands busy, your mind busy. And I'm obsessed with it. So we will be talking about this more as we continue through what we'll deem as our new series or our comeback series of the podcast, because it deserves to be in the hands of so many more people. That's another really, really big thing that we will continue to scream out loud, because we're very proud of it and super excited that we have something with our names on it that we're very proud to hopefully help anyone out there with their journey in whatever part of their journey they're walking in. So that will be where we stop for the very first comeback episode.
A is for adoption.
A is for adoption. All right. You guys will see us next episode, and as you will see it, it will be something in regards to the letter B. So thanks for tuning into this. We're so happy to be back.